On today's episode, we're at Railways Landscape Supplies in Reynella, South Australia. Clint did a video here a few weeks ago where he completely butchered the Tiftuf, but since then the display area has also had some Sir Walter buffalo laid. So today we are giving it its first cut, ready for the Start of Month BBQ held here at Railways, so stick around. Alrighty guys, so last time Clint was here, he mowed the Tiftuf behind me and we just looked at the buffalo. Since then there's been a lot of involvement here, so we've got all the paving in front of me here finished and they're starting on the Kikuyu patch behind me. The entrance into the sales team here is just, it's so good since last time I was here especially. So the plan of today's video is we're going to mow the buff and we're going to mow the Tiftuf. We're going to use the 14-inch Scotty that we brought back to life after being salvaged from the garden. And then basically the idea of this area, as Clint touched on last time, was to entertain clients, for people to come into Railways and have a look and physically see how things may look in their backyard, their front yard, or it's just really nice to actually come into a landscape yard and be presented with something like this. We also have the Start of Month BBQ happening next month. So the turf farm is coming down to have a look at this area, and that's where this turf has come from, the turf farm. So we want it to look very nice for them and just to showcase the type of turf that you can expect from the turf farm. So we'll start with the edge and then we'll get stuck into the Scotty. Alrighty guys, so that came up really nice. Basically, I want to touch on why we use the rotary scissors there, because we have an event here in not too long. We don't generally with a whippersnipper, if I was to come through with this, it would scout. The rotary scissors, as you know, or if you aren't aware, the blades spin on top of each other, so it's giving that scissor effect, so it's a much cleaner cut. Unfortunately, with the types of retaining wall they've got here, there's little indents, so the rotary scissors being a fixed point in terms of the edge, it's not going to pick up on these long wispy bits. The good side, I suppose, to that Milwaukee gear is I've just taken the edger out and put the whippersnipper attachment in. I'm going to come through with the whippersnipper here, really clean it up, and on both the Tiftuf and the buffalo, and then I'll just talk quickly about the Scotty when it comes time. Yeah, so some areas that were growing into the garden bed, rather than flicking bark everywhere, I'll just pull it out by hand, a bit neater. And then this, because it's so thick and long, I don't want to blow that a way into the mulch, so I'll just go through here with my hands and pick it up, and there'll still be some left over, but I'll just turn the mulch over and Luke won't know that it's there. Okay guys, so we've just edged, we've scissored, we've then gone around with the whipper snipper and just cleaned up the edges in the retaining wall section, and then lastly I've just blown most of the debris back onto the lawn. I've also just checked to make sure that there's no rocks. Bark chips are okay, I suppose it's just going to be a part of the lawn up here, but rocks are a big no-no. Now, because I'm a nice person, I want to set this Scotty and forget it for the boys here at Railways. So what that means is that both lawns will be cut at the same height, and then eventually when the kikuyu goes in, that will also be cut all at the same height. So I don't have a height of cut bar with me, but I do have a good suggestion that you can do. Now, I mentioned it in my last video, or one of my last videos, that you need to loosen the height of cut nut, because if you don't, sometimes, I'm not saying every time, but sometimes this housing will crack and then you're stuffed. So a lot of people messaged in and said, oh, I've never done that in my life, and it does fine. Well, I'm sure it does fine for now until it snaps. So anyway, so right, so that's loose and the height of cut bar is moving. Now, our height of cut bar, the front roll is moving. Now, I want to not go that way. So we'll go this way, and then you're not going to be able to see this on camera at all, but basically the bed knife I want just going across the top of the leaf there, which it is. So keep adjusting. Wrong way. So that's at maximum. So I think the maximum is 30 mil. So we're just gonna, we'll go with that. We'll go around the edges, and if it's too high, if it's too low, well, this buffalo is gonna have to be trained to cut at 30 mil. Because we've still got a bit of time before the event. I think, what is it, 12 days? I think, 14 days. So we've still got 2 weeks. Goodness gracious, yeah, I need to be going that way. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Just a quick tip guys with this Briggs & Stratton engine, especially on a 14-inch, you don't need to run them full tilt. Half tilt's probably even too much as well. So if you got a 17 or a 20, like the half is probably fine. Do not run these full tilt, you'll rattle the chassis to pieces. Even though it's a better engine than what came with it, you don't need to run them full tilt. Anyway, let's go. All right guys, so I'm about to double cut it. The handlebars kept coming off, so we've just had to temporarily fix them. But I was just speaking to Duff off camera, and I think I might like this buff. I know, I hate buff usually, but that's cut really well with the Scotty. And I think if you're gonna have buffalo, you have to use cylinder mower. I don't know, it's actually really good. I hope the camera picks it up. Keeping in mind this has had no fertilizer, none. No got laid, no Trojan, no nothing. So I was talking to Luke, the manager here at Railways, and it just goes to show how important it is to have a solid foundation for your turf. Just like a house, it starts in the foundations. You have terrible foundations, you're gonna have a terrible house. You have terrible foundations in your lawn, you're gonna have a terrible lawn. So yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm actually speechless, to be honest. I can't wait to cut the tiff, but this buffalo has its space in the market. There you go, I said it. So yeah, I always admit when I'm wrong. Okay guys, so a bit of an awkward, I suppose, shape for this Tiftuf and the Scotty, but it doesn't matter. Overall, it's come up pretty good, to be honest with you. For the height of cut, I don't usually cut cooch this high, but for the purpose of people to come in and have a look, and for the purpose of the team here at Railways not having to continually adjust the height of cut on that Scotty, it looks really good. Couple of slightly scout parts, nothing to be too worried about, especially being cooch. It's going to be absolutely fine in 2 or 3 days anyway. Yeah, there's a few, it's very uneven, unfortunately, but look, if you are just a domestic homeowner that just wants a nice lawn, and you don't need to use these machines obviously to cut these lawns, but if you've got one, great. If you don't, whatever you have is fine. Like I said before, these have not had any fertilizer on them at all. This Tiftuf went down on the Lawn Hub turf mix, which is a mix of sands and organics and some compost. So some really vital nutrition in that soil, which helped this Tiftuf survive through the winter, as it was planted in the winter, believe it or not. And the colour is phenomenal, and the buff, I think that was planted about 4 to 6 weeks ago on a 50-50, so 50% sand, 50% soil with some organics in it, not as much as the Tiftuf, but overall both looking really well. Unfortunately the Scotty couldn't get close enough to the retaining wall, so I'm just going to have to go over them with the steel scissors again. But yeah, I have full faith that these lawns will be popping by the Start of Month BBQ. Okay guys, so that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, really nice lawns here, and really looking forward to see how these go in the summer. I was going to fertilise them, but to be honest, I'm just going to let them go. I think there's still enough nutrients in the soil that's going to continue to feed these lawns, and I'm a big believer if you don't need to fertilise, don't worry about it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you're in the area here at Reynella in South Australia, make sure you do come in and see the team. They're really nice. They'll help you out with all your gardening and needs. They also are full Lawn Hub stockers, so they sell everything on the website here. So instead of waiting for delivery, you can come here and pick them up as well. They've got everything you need here in terms of landscape, supplies, needs. They got concrete, they got absolutely everything. So make sure if you are in the area, you come down and have a look. Come see Luke and the team and they'll help you out. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you then.